Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Riverside Presents from the Riverside Ballroom in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And of course, we're honoring Gene Heyer and his fabulous band on their 25th anniversary of artistry and music. And we have some plaques that we will be awarding to the band a little bit later on. Of course, we started out with the Heine Polka. That was the first number that Gene and the band played at the old Maribel Ballroom in Maribel, Wisconsin, 25 years ago tonight. It was Easter Sunday, 1947. Gene, what's next? That's Why She Cried. Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And at this time, I'd like to read this very nice letter from the Manitowoc Musicians Association, Local 195, American Federation of Musicians, Manitowoc, Wisconsin. April 6, 1972, Gene Heyer Orchestra, Manitowoc, Wisconsin. Dear Brother Gene, on behalf of Manitowoc Musicians Association, Local 195, I would like to extend heartiest congratulations on the 25th anniversary of your orchestra. Local 195 is very proud to boast of a group of its members that have contributed so much to the promotion of old-time and modern music through recordings and public appearances in the entire Midwestern United States. Without doubt, all the friends you and your band have made join Local 195 in wishing you many, many years of continued success. Fraternally yours, Joe Weber, President. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Watch this. We'll be right back. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to dedicate this show to Mrs. Jean Heyer, who is recuperating from surgery at Manitowoc Hospital, and very best wishes to Esther. And of course, Jean plays all types of music, and of course, Esther is Polish, so now we're going to play a little Polish tune, the Dreamy Fish Waltz. Jean Heyer and the band. Genial Jean Heyer and the beautiful Dreamy Fish Waltz, and of course the accordion stylings of none other than Vic Peck. Welcome home from Florida to Eugene DeVillers and Blanche Euclid, and also Mr. and Mrs. Owen DeVillers of Milwaukee. And hello to all the folks down at Kleiner's Bar over at West Bend, where they always watch Riverside Presents. Nice to hear that. Hope you enjoy it. Also for Mr. and Mrs. Molly from Algoma, requested by Mary Malowiski. And for Mr. and Mrs. Carl Klingbill of Beloit, Wisconsin, best wishes. And for Netta Liebhaum from Joe, Linda, Jeff, and Helen. And also from her husband, Norm. And for the 55th wedding anniversary, Mr. and Mrs. John Uhl of Sheboygan. And the 25th anniversary of Mr. and Mrs. Elmer Lenser of La Crosse, Wisconsin. And the 25th silver anniversary of Mr. and Mrs. George Lenz over at Neenah. And also for Mr. and Mrs. Henry Harders of Winona, Minnesota, on their 68th wedding anniversary. Congratulations, Genial Jean Heyer. Waltz time. Katie's Waltz. Very beautiful Katie's Waltz, as only Genial Gene Hire and the orchestra can play it. And a special welcome and hello to a group of 50 fine people from the Wausau and Marathon area are down here on a bus on behalf of the Corn Crib Inn up in Marathon. Wait till we get up there. And we'll be up to see you. Thank you. And happy birthday to John Artis, one of the gang having a birthday. And we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, you've probably been looking at this and wondering what it is. So am I. But first of all, I want to personally congratulate Gene Hire on 25 years in the very fabulous orchestra business. And I mean, your band is fabulous, Gene.
Thank you, John.
You're certainly an artist in every sense of the word. Now let's see what this is all about.
A lot of quarters on there.
It says, there you go. It says, roses, I send you roses. I think this is the favorite number of Mr. and Mrs. Bill Pfeiffer, if I am correct. And it says, congratulations to the band, one of the best throughout the land, who have given us many hours of pleasure, many hours that we will always treasure. Your music makes us feel alive. May we enjoy you another 25. Gene Hire, congratulations. This is from Bill and Lila Pfeiffer. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Bill and Lila. They're one of our great followers, and we appreciate you people.
Real good. Don't spend those quarters at the bar tonight, Gene. And, of course, they like the big band styling, so here is a very familiar theme. Lawrence Welk's Bubbles in the Wine. Genial Gene Hire. Thank you. Thank you very much. Beautiful bubbles in the wine. And we'll be right back after these fine words. Happy birthday time for the 11th birthday of Julie and Glenn Thomas of Two Rivers, and for William Bawes of Green Bay and Albert Voigt of Daggett, Michigan, and for George Roshak of Wells, Michigan. And for the birthday of Mrs. William Bearhond of Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and for Mrs. Robert A. Burns up at Wakefield, Michigan, and for Mrs. Verna Weiss of Sheboygan, and the 82nd birthday of Mrs. Amos Somm Sr. over at Oshkosh, the 86th birthday of Mrs. Estella Ringhand of Brooklyn, Wisconsin, and for the 88th birthday of Mrs. Julia Hint over at Two Rivers, and for the Najedalo clan here, Leanne Najedalo, Carol Najedalo, and Kathy Najedalo on their birthdays. Happy birthday. And now, polka time. Gene, I was really honored when Gene Heyer wrote this one for me and for himself, of course, the Gene and John. We just got the introduction on last week. So here we go, the Gene and John polka, Gene Heyer. Gene Heyer and the Gene and John polka. Thank you, Gene. Thank you, folks. Want to play a number for all the hair cutters, the barbers over at Northeastern Wisconsin Technical Institute, and also for Bill Karras and Dale Hefner, requested by Carl Locke. And birthday requests for Grace Blonick, Rita Castor, Sharon DeGrave, and also for Jim Pribble of Green Bay, Carol Wesley Kiwani, Mildred Pribble of Manitowoc. And for Alice Schneider of Chilton and Dick Candler over at Hilbert. And happy birthday to Mrs. Bill Locke down at Johnsonville at Locke's Hall in Johnsonville, requested by her sons, Carl and Donald, and of course her husband, Bill. Happy birthday also to Vivian Sprang. Polka time once again. Genial Gene Heyer, the Squeakers Polka. This is a dandy. Daniel Gene Heyer and the Squeakers Polka. Kurt Kolbeck knows about that one, Bernie Wavernick, when we go down to the Squeaker Sip Club over at Tisch Mills. And of course, that extra stub you got on your admission tonight is good for a free drink, compliments of Gene Heyer. And of course, this afternoon, Luger Carmen. Friday the 14th, Joe Carmen. Sunday the 16th, we'll be celebrating my birthday, and you get a free drink on that one also with $1 admission. And of course, Gene Heyer will be playing for that one from 2 to 6 in the afternoon. And then from 7 to 11, Sunday night, April 16th, the first big benefit bingo, the March of Dimes, free admission. And of course, we'll be selling refreshments, your favorite refreshments. And of course, all the proceeds go to the March of Dimes on Sunday, April 16th. Friday, April 21st, Jerry Gates. Sunday, April 23rd, there won't be any dance. We have a private party. Friday, April 28th, Tony Gauze. And we'll be right back.
Move closer to your world, my friend. Take a little bit of time. Move closer to your world, my friend, and you'll see.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Maestro Genial Gene Heyer with a few words.
I have some requests here for the 15th birthday of Cindy Hoffensberger of Menasha, also for her grandmother, the 77th birthday of Mary Tights, and the 19th birthday of Gene Hoffensberger. And also for Honest John Dufik of Manitowoc having his birthday, Mr. and Mrs. Jerry Stipa and Mr. and Mrs. Bob Meyer of Manistee, and also Mr. and Mrs. Harold Krause from Manistee, Harold Krause Sr., and also for Mrs. Adeline Pisani, who's in the Holy Family Hospital. And here we have one requested by Gibby Ledwig, one of our saxophone players from New Holstein, and he'd like to have one played for his dad, Fred Ludwig, on his 81st birthday, 80 years young, from Chilton, Wisconsin.
Gene, was this one of your original sax players?
No, it just helps us out once in a while.
Okay.
And I would like to say thank you. We've had such an enormous amount of phone calls, phone calls, even telegrams, letters, and cards, and especially Mr. and Mrs. Frank Bartell from Sheboygan with their beautiful flowers they sent up. And of course, we can't forget Pfeiffer's with their little...
Right. Right.
One of my old playmates, she said. Thank you.
Okay, Genial, thank you. And wedding anniversary congratulations on the 46th of Mr. and Mrs. Leo Kramer. And for the wedding anniversary, Mr. and Mrs. August Wallman on their 34th anniversary from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. And wedding anniversary, the 51st wedding anniversary, Mr. and Mrs. Otto Stroff at Manitowoc. And also for the 48th anniversary, Mr. and Mrs. Albert Nelson over at Sheboygan. And the 28th anniversary, Mr. and Mrs. Bernard J. Hill, Iron Mountain, Michigan. And happy birthday to Mrs. John Wilkie. Is that your mother, Russ? Wonderful. Congratulations to Mrs. Wilkie. Thank you. And for the birthday of Mrs. Darrell Pollock and the 49th wedding anniversary, Mr. and Mrs. Art Kirkin. Congratulations to these fine people. Genial Gene Heyer and the band featuring two accordions, Vic Peck and Russ Wilkie, the Clarine Waltz. Gentlemen, take her away.